Thank you, Birmingham. It's always a great place to come to, always get a warm reception, and today is no different. Great to see so many people here. What I want to do is start with a show of hands. Of all the people here, who knows directly somebody that's been injured or has died as a result of taking a vaccine? That is massive, isn't it? And that says it all. And we have got a government that is lying, a government that is putting its eyes in a closed position because it is not recognising the truth. People are dying of these vaccines, and we have a situation where a Nobel Prize winner in the name of Professor Luc Montagnier has put his name to an International Criminal Court submission saying that he not only thinks that the vaccines are a bioweapon, but the virus itself is a bioweapon. Let me repeat that. A Nobel Prize winner, Professor Luc Montagnier, along with a world-renowned cardiologist called Dr. Richard Fleming, have put their names as expert witnesses to an International Criminal Court submission to The Hague, saying that what has been created is a bioweapon. That is how serious this is. We are facing genocide, ladies and gentlemen. Do you agree with me? This is our war, this is our time to stand up, and I'm delighted to see that there are numbers in their thousands again in Birmingham. And up and down the country there are protests and rallies going on. I think there are 20 venues today, and we are at the centre of the country here in Birmingham, and you are doing the cause proud. Because, ladies and gentlemen, this is a serious week. In my book, this is the week that the phony war stops and the reality is hitting a lot of people. What happened in Rotterdam last night with riots on the streets is because the people of Rotterdam are saying that they don't want to be wearing a yellow star like the Jews were forced to wear in the 1940s. And this is why I wear a yellow Star of David that says not vaccinated. I know it is a severe symbol. I know it's deep. But that is where we are. We are living in a segregated society, and when I grew up in the 1970s, the 1980s, I never thought that as a grown adult I would be speaking in the middle of central Birmingham describing my country as a segregated country. Because that is what we have become. I know today in England we haven't quite got the COVID passport regime that Scotland, Wales and Northern Ireland have, but it's only a question of time. And the only reason why it has not hit England is because of people like you. The movement has grown from May 2020, when I was arrested at Speaker's Corner. I think a few of you know that. I was arrested for holding up a placard very similar to that one, being walking down the steps now by my friend Tim. As an Englishman, it's an absolute outrage that I was arrested for conducting and exercising the freedom of speech. And I know there are hundreds, if not thousands, of fellow protesters that have been arrested under the draconian rules of the coronavirus 2020 regulations. And each and every one of those is a brave soul, and I salute every single one of you. Yeah. We've got a situation on the streets of Austria today where the segregation is real, where this symbolism is real. It's funny, isn't it, Austria? Fascist dictators seem to emanate out of Austria, and a certain family called the Rothschild family. And this is the real reason for this so-called pandemic. This is not about health. I've got a homemade sign on the back of my car that says this is not about health, it's about control. And that's exactly what it is, because the money men headed by the Rothschilds and the DuPonts and the Rockefellers have seen that their century-long plus fiat monetary system has broken and is not serviceable anymore. This is the real reason why we are being enforced into a segregated society, because they want to control us financially, they want to enslave us financially. And that £38 billion NHS track and trace system was not about health, it was about a mechanism to control people. Are we going to comply? And we really must resist and defy and not comply. And I say the reason why England is not suffering from the same regime that Wales, Scotland and Northern Ireland is because of the huge movement that has grown since May 2020. It has grown from hundreds and thousands to tens of thousands to hundreds of thousands, and in May and April of this year there was literally 1 million plus on the streets of London. But it's not all about London. I know there is a big crowd doing the same as what we are doing in Birmingham today in central London, and that is fantastic, and I applaud them. And I know that they will be applauding the rallies and demos going on not only around this country, but the worldwide Freedom Rally is all about our brothers and sisters around the world, like my friend Gurcharan here, who is from India originally. This is a worldwide problem. This is not about black and white, this is not about left and right politics, this is not about old and young, this is not about working class and middle class, this is about good versus evil, and we are not going to let the evil win and take our freedoms, are we? Klaus Schwab and Prince Charles a couple of weeks ago said that we will own nothing and we will be happy. Well, I've got a deal for you, Prince Charles and Klaus Schwab. You give me all your property and your wealth and your gold and your aeroplanes and your motor cars, and you see what it's like not owning anything, and if you're happy, I'll have a think about it. Ladies and gentlemen, I'm not going to talk too much about the financial reasons for this pandemic, because the next speaker after me is a friend of mine called Darren Haywood from Milton Keynes. He's not coming on after me. But let me give my friend an introduction while I've got the mic. And my friend Darren Haywood was a face in the crowd, and he had a conversation with me. A face in the crowd, and I knew this man had something to offer, and what he knows about the history of the New World Order and its financial calamity that started in the early 20th century. We will learn something, ladies and gentlemen, today. What this man knows and what this man can speak about is very, very interesting. He has done an interview with David Clues of Unity News Network, and I recommend all of you watch that interview, because he'll only have 10 minutes to speak today and he will only be able to get a little bit of the information out. But this is what it's all about. They do not care about us, and they haven't cared about us for a long time. This is our generation to suffer at the evil of these people. Every 4 generations they come after us, and ladies and gentlemen, we are that generation, and it is up to us to honour our forebears. My grandfather fought on the beaches of Normandy in June 1944, and he did not dodge bullets on the beaches of Normandy in 1944 to allow me to let these evil people take that freedom away from me and my daughter and my family, and I am not going to do it. And when we have a situation when European countries are openly, plainly saying that vaccinations are mandatory, completely against the Nuremberg Code of 1946-47, Article 6, look it up. Every person has the ability to decide whether they have medical treatment or not. And Austria have already mandated it. This is fascism, and we have the perfect mix of the fascist governments around the world in our country, led by that puppet on the string, Boris Johnson. Do you agree? Playing to the crowd of the money men. And we have an Austrian government that thinks that they will be able to get away with it. But they are not going to be able to get away with it, because we need to stand tall and we need to fight it. And if anybody comes at my door forcing me to have a vaccination, they are not going to leave in good health. And I mean that. Because if our Jewish friends in the 1940s knew what was coming to them, I'm sure they would have changed their approach, and we need to learn from history. This badge that I'm wearing is honour not only to the Jews, but the Romani gypsies, the homosexuals, and the mentally handicapped who were abused by the Nazis. And that's exactly the route we're going down now. And people need to wake up to the reality of that. And I know all you good people do, and it is our duty to spread the word. And anybody that wants to ask you questions, who knows that something is not quite right, who wants to know a little bit more information, give them a bit of time. Give them a bit of time of your knowledge of what you've picked up in this last 20 months. Because we need those people to be awoken, because they are suffering from the propaganda. They are suffering from the hypnotism. The lies, when you wake up to it, is so obvious, isn't it? And it is our duty to pass that information down. I'm going to stop talking now.